Hi, I'm Lauren and this is the Cute Cook in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make mac and cheese for the boo. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my water going. I want to bring it to a boil, so I've got a pot of water right here. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic salt to it. Now, the reason that this recipe is called mac and cheese for the boo, my godson, when he first started trying to talk, I used to call him the Boo because he sounded like Boo from Monsters, Inc. Putting about a tablespoon of olive oil in here just because I don't want my noodles to stick together. So anyway, when I was little and my mother had 3 of us all under the age of 6 at one time, she used to keep us in the kitchen with her. Somebody would stir, somebody would chop, somebody would chop, somebody would, play with the pots inevitably. So when I watch my godson, I try to keep him in the kitchen with me also. On our site, you can see pictures of us making cupcakes together. So when I was making mac and cheese, I started trying to sing because that's a way to entice kids to get stuff. So we made up a song, mac and cheese for the boo, mac and cheese. And now every time he sees one of my videos, he sings, TT's cooking mac and cheese for the boo. So today, this one's for you, sweetheart. I'm going to get my cheese ready. I like to use a lot of cheeses. I have right here some mozzarella that I already bought shredded, some cheddar that I also bought shredded, Parm that's shredded too, and now I'm going to chop up my Swiss and my American. The reason that I use the American cheese is because, unfortunately, even though it's, not the best cheese for you and it's not always the greatest, it melts really, really nicely. I'm saying really, really a lot, so I'm gonna really, really try to stop saying that. It melts very nicely. So now we've got our water to a boil. We're going to add about 2 cups of about 2 cups of noodles to this water. I've got the super big measuring cup. Oh, that's noisy. So we're gonna let the shells come to a boil. Aside from looking a little bit fancier, the shells are also gonna work really well when we put them in the muffin tins. Muffin tins? I thought I was making mac and cheese. Yes, I am making mac and cheese. I'm gonna leave all the melting to the oven, which I've preheated to 350 degrees. And it's getting nice and toasty. It's actually ready to go. I'm gonna use probably about 3 eggs. Making messes. It's part of the fun with it. And again, if you were making this with, little people, kids, nephews, godsons, whoever, that's part of the fun. They love cracking the eggs and making a mess. I've got a cup of milk that I'm going to pour in here. I'm gonna whisk it up. Whenever I use a whisk, I always laugh because when I was in high school, my French teacher told me about this restaurant where it's a bed and breakfast where they're world renowned for their omelets. And all the women who work there have one big arm. So they have one Popeye arm and one regular arm because they're so busy whisking. That's just one of those funny things that I know. Large armed woman for 500, please. So I'm always scared that I'm gonna do it, so I always switch up when I'm whisking because I don't want to have, even though I can't really whisk with this arm, I don't want to have one mutant Popeye arm ever in life. All right, so I've got that ready to pour over my noodles. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so running it under the cold water also helps to cool off the noodles a little bit. So if you're in a hurry to get this dish done, it'll help out a lot. Okay, so I've got my noodles. They're nice and cool. My hands are clean. Do I need to show it again? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to mix in my cheeses. All right, so I'm going to take my Swiss and mix my Swiss in just a little bit. Again, these are all about a cup of every kind of cheese that I have. And you can switch it up. If you like a little bit of kick, you can put some pepper jack in it because I like things a little spicy, But the reason that you have to cool your noodles off is because when you add the eggs, you don't want to have like omelet in the noodles, and you don't want to melt the cheese too early. I'm gonna pour a little bit of this in because you want to pretty much just coat the noodles. Now, sometimes people like to top them with a little bit of breadcrumbs. I've done that before, but you don't really taste them. It just adds like a little bit of a nice toasted color. All right, let me get all my mess out of the way. And now the muffin tins. Now, I've mentioned it already. Mac and cheese is delightful, it's delicious, but sometimes you just have too much of it, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. You don't need to have a whole baking tray of mac and cheese, especially if you're spending an evening alone and just want some comfort food. So, with this muffin tin way of doing it, it's portion size. It also helps for little folks. Like when I make it for the boo, he can just take a little cup of mac and cheese and you can kind of almost walk around in it. Makes mac and cheese portable. Mac and cheese is a street food. There's an idea. Copyright, don't try and steal it, it's my idea. Copyright for the Cute Cook. So I've got these super cute cupcake wrappers that I'm gonna put in here. We're gonna put like a dollop of the mac and cheese mixture in each one. I know this is more than a dollop, but y'all gonna work with me on this. Now you may have noticed that I didn't season everything or add any more salt than what was already in the water before. That's because we're gonna top it off with a little bit of Parm. Now Parmesan cheese is a really salty cheese, so you don't wanna put too much salt in the base of it and then put the Parm on top, because then it'll be way too salty for you. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of the Parm on top. Plus, part of the point of mac and cheese is to get the flavor of the cheeses. If you have to cover it with salt and pepper and a whole bunch of other stuff, some people like putting sugar in their mac and cheese too. I've done that before. But if you have to cover it with all those other things, then you're kind of taking away from the flavor of the cheeses. We're gonna put it in the oven and we're gonna let it bake for about 30 to 40 minutes, I'd say. But you'll know it's ready when it starts to get all golden and bubbly brown and delicious. Ooh, mac and cheese. Oh, I can't even make a Homer sound, but oh well. All right, we're gonna come back to that in just a minute. All right, so, ooh, look, it's so bubbly and delightful and delicious. So I'm gonna try and take these out. You might wanna let them cool a little bit, especially if you're gonna put them in the hands of a small person. You're gonna need to let them cool. If you're gonna put them in the hands of anybody, you need to let them cool, but especially a small person. So I'm gonna just use my tongs and take it out. And the great thing about these is they freeze well and reheat. You can just pop them in the microwave when you're ready to have one. Take them for lunch if you want to. Even have them at a party. It's little, you can use smaller muffin cups and have little mac and cheese bites. Oh, another great idea. So there it is. I'm Lauren. This is mac and cheese for my boo. Mac and cheese for my boo. And this has been another episode of The Cute Cook in the Kitchen. Bye.